This book is a compilation of World War II dispatches written by Sidney A. Olson while serving as a correspondent for Time and Life magazines during the final months of the war in Europe. Plenty of World War II correspondents went on to publish their memoirs, but for some reason, Olson chose not to write his own. After his death in 1995, his daughter Whitney, my mother, preserved his personal papers, which included war dispatches along with correspondence, diary pages, clippings, and ephemera from the 1920s through the 1980s. In 2019, my mother and I began the painstaking process of transcribing the war dispatches, which were known to the family in a limited sort of way. No one was terribly sure what Olson had seen during the war. The only thing we knew for certain was that he had published an article in Time about the liberation of Dachau concentration camp. As we began to place the dispatches in chronological order, two things became apparent. His writing was exquisite and often heartbreaking, and some of his dispatches were missing entirely. As we stitched together a timeline, we began to understand the startling scope of his experiences while overseas. He catapulted from one scene of destruction to another, eloquently describing the human toll in the growing population of displaced persons, or DPs. Like the buildings around him, civilization appeared to be collapsing before his eyes. He did what all journalists are expected to do. He recorded what he saw, doing his best to mute his personal beliefs and emotional reactions. Few of us can understand the magnitude of this expectation. He risked his life on more than one occasion. Years later, he wrote in his diary, "A question to ask myself repeatedly. Where did I get my courage?" A fair amount of what Olson typed up and cabled back to Time Inc.'s New York office was never published. Some of his dispatches were passed over for practical reasons. Time and Life were weekly publications, and due to the number of events taking place at the tumultuous close of the war, news from the front changed hourly. Often, his dispatches were carved up by his editors, and in keeping with Time Inc.'s practice of pooling information, portions were folded into large articles with multiple contributors. Thankfully, Olson saved some of his dispatches, and we were able to track down more at the New York Historical Society and Harvard University. This was challenging in the midst of a global pandemic. As we progressed in our research, we were pleasantly surprised to discover that Olson had in fact received a byline for some of his reporting. We also developed a profound respect for the dispatches themselves, fragile primary source documents which could have easily been lost or discarded.